issue. So everything that you can see happening in the nation, these things are happening here locally. Officers who have shot and killed people in the city have gotten promotions from shooting and killing people. Dominic McNeese shot Tyrus Jones, and Dominic McNeese went right back to work. Mikey Guzman was hit by a police cruiser, South Floyd police cruiser. The Winnebago Boone Integrity Task Force were the ones who looked into that. The Winnebago County State's Attorney was the one who looked into that, and they put that officer right back onto the streets. A young man just was beat on Thursday. He got beat on Thursday. He got beat on Tuesday, and he was denied bail. He's sitting in jail for the next 2 weeks, assaulted by the police department. Dominic McNeese was on the arrested record. So I say all of those things to say these issues that we have, these issues that are going on in the country and in the nation, they are happening here at a high capacity, at a high rate. So that is why we stayed here for 100 days. Anytime we may have thought about leaving, some other news story came out, or something else happened, or somebody got assaulted by an officer, or an anniversary of somebody being killed by a police officer came up. Go ahead.
Leslie, what do you make about the officers coming to clear the sit-in on the anniversary of the 100-day anniversary of the sit-in here?
I think that it goes to show that they don't want this issue to be talked about. They don't want these things to for these things to be publicized. They don't have any kind of. I don't believe that it's any true, genuine desire to fix the things that are going on in Rockford, because the things that are going on in Rockford predominantly affect a small percentage of the people in the city. That's how these things work. You know,
have authorities come to, like city officials or other authorities come to the sit-in to speak with you guys to get your side of the story?
We've had one alderman. We had multiple aldermen who have came. Natavius Irvin came. Natavius Irvin and the people that were and everybody here had a strong disagreement on how we seen the issues. Frank Beach has come by. You know, the mayor walks up and down into here on a regular basis, on a daily basis. If the mayor had any genuine desire to address these issues or fix these issues, this could be the first stop he made every single morning. Nobody stops the mayor from coming over here and speaking. It's no way if people were slipping outside of my house for 100 days that I'm not, around day 30, I'm gonna talk to them every day to figure out what it is that I can do to get them moved from this space. So I think that it's a combination of us being here for 100 days is what brought them out here, and I think that the memorials that are all up and down this area have a very strong thing to do with it. The people in the city hate Eddie Patterson. The white people in the white community in the city, the people who back law enforcement in the city, they hate Eddie Patterson. We have a picture up there of Eddie Patterson. Every time the date of Eddie Patterson and Jamie Cox being killed comes around, the city only acknowledges Jamie Cox. And it's the same thing for all of these names up and down here. Mike Sago, anytime you bring up what happened to Mike Sago, anybody that is white or is backing the police, all they want to do is bring up a robbery, bring up that, you know, it was a stick-up going on. They never want to bring up the fact that Michael Sago was shot on the ground in his back multiple times. These people who have been killed in this city, majority of them have been shot in the back. Majority of them have been shot while being unarmed, and over 90% of them are black. This is not like in America where you have to generalize and say, well, numerically more white people get killed, but percentage-wise more black people get killed. Black and brown bodies are the ones that are being killed in Rockford. The man that went and shot up the bowling alley, Don Carter's, nobody, once they knew that it was a mass shooter and it was a white man, nobody expected that man to come out in a body bag. It's not what happened. But if that would have been some kind of gang-related shooting that happened at Don Carter, everybody would have expected that man to come out in a body bag. It was a mass shooting at the Waylo gas station. 5 people were shot, 1 person was killed. There was no memorial service. There was no vigil. There was no outcry from the mayor. The same thing, when that happened at that gas station, the chief of police got on there and condemned every black person and every person in the inner city for the actions that person committed shooting up that gas station. When that white man shot up Don Carter's, you did not hear nobody get up there and say, we need to do a better job of dealing with white men's mental health, or we need to start pulling over every white man that's driving up and down the street and searching their car for guns. And they didn't condemn every white man that served in the military or every white man in the city of Rockford when that man did it. It was that man's actions and that man's actions alone. But when a black person does it, every black person is guilty for it. When a black person commits any kind of crime, they have to be treated as if no matter what, they're a danger to anybody. They have to be brought out. They can't be brought out in one piece. And so all of these things is what leads to these issues happening. All of these things is what leads to, when they come to take this stuff down, throwing trash on the ground and cussing at them and yelling at them. People have an issue with the language that people use against the police, but nobody seems to have an issue with the actions that the police take against people. If the only thing that we have at our disposal is cuss words and yelling, I'm going to use them to the fullest extent every time I can. Go ahead.
And so what's it going to take from the point of view of the movement here to calm tensions between What's it gonna take to accountability?
Yes, I got the mic, but it's other people here too.
When we came out here for the mayor to hold a press conference. That was our first demand. Since growing and talking to the family of Tyrus Jones, we wanted to include the demands that they have made. And that's the firing of Dominic McNeese, the prosecution to the full extent of Dominic McNeese, the independent third-party investigation to the shooting of Tyrus Jones. That, along with the demands from City Market, along with the demands from May 30th, along with the demands that we're going to make for here, abuse and excessive force that have happened here.
Do you guys plan to step back up?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Day 101 will be here.
Yes.
Day
we'll
200 will be here. Day 356 will be right here.
As long as those demands
24/7. 24/7.
We're here.
Leslie, you've proposed a couple different things in our conversations as well as some sort of community review board for dash cam or body camera footage. That's something that would open conversations for some sort of resolution or even a step towards that?
Yeah, I think that things can be made to take steps towards these issues being solved. I think that what has happened since May 30th to this day is that it's just been lip service. Everybody always says, well, what can we do to get this fixed? What can we do to get this fixed? Most of those people can't name you the people who have been murdered by the police department. Those same people who want to say things like, well, what can we do to fix these issues? There's a dash camera video footage of Tyrus Jones being shot by this police department, and they won't release it. All over this country, you can watch where other cities are releasing dash camera video footage or body cam video footage of things that have happened. And we are still sitting here waiting for Mikey Guzman's dash cam video footage to be released, and we're waiting for Tyrus Jones' dash cam video footage to be released. Those are the type of things that are olive branches to fixing an issue. So when you say things like getting more body cams, I can't believe that body cams will fix the issue when we 100% know it's a dash cam video. We can't see the dash cam video footage. It's people whose loved ones have been killed in high-speed chases who are in the middle of year lawsuits trying to get dash camera video footage released, and they don't want to release it. So, yes, there are multiple things that can be done to get us closer to fixing these issues. Not a single one of those things have started to be done yet, in my opinion.
And the release of body cam and dash cam footage is something that Jay Hanley has on record saying that he supports. If no charges are present, Jay Hanley has come out and said in debates that he supports the release of dash cam footage. They just came out, Sawyer Kurth justified. Sawyer Kurth ran over Mikey Guzman. He came out and said there's dash cam footage and there's going to be no charges. So that dash cam footage should be released right now. Why isn't it released to the public? Why hasn't the family gotten any information on that?
Where do you sit in today's, obviously there's been tons of demonstrations in the region in the past calendar year. Where do you put today in terms of, the things that you guys have experienced?
I don't know, sometime here we normally do top 10s a lot with stuff, top 10s, top 5s. This probably would be I don't know, it's hard to top City Market. City Market was, the Fridays on City Market was pretty heavy, there was no ambulances out here. It was an ambulance at City Market. It's same thing with at Back to Blue, it was no pepper spray, and so we've had instances where things have been a lot worse than this. Unfortunately, we did have people get arrested. We'll make sure to get those people out of jail from being arrested. I think that this is not a good day. It's never a good day when they come and arrest people. It's never a good day when they come and you feel like your rights are being infringed upon. But it's par for the course. I would be lying if I said we didn't think at some point they was going to come and do this. Same thing when we put the memorials up. We knew that at some point they would come down and take the memorials. When we were at City Market and we were walking on the crosswalk, we believe that I still believe and know 100% we were within our rights to be pedestrians on the crosswalk. But we knew a time will come where they would probably come to try to arrest us. Not because anything that we're doing is causing any victims or causing any kind of issues truly to the city, but because it's more people finding out about these things. Not for 1 second do I believe that they want to have to pay money out to Tyrus Jones' family. The more people that know about what happened to Tyrus Jones and what happened to Mikey Guzman and what happened to Kerry Blake, the more heightened awareness around it, the closer they got to get to paying money to these people. The closer they got to get to trying to change policies for these people. And so I think that we're at a place where we're just adding straws onto the camel's back. And I hope that before the the final straw gets put onto this camel back. I hope that the mayor of the city and the police department of the city and the city officials that's in Rockford, that they realize that this is a dire situation, that they have a powder keg on their hands, and that all it's going to take is the wrong person or the right person, however you see it, to have an issue happen with the police, for it to be on film and on camera, and all of these things are going to break these levees. And instead of waiting for that day to come, instead of waiting to become Minneapolis or become Ferguson or become Kenosha, they should deal with these issues immediately. And one of the first ways of dealing with these issues is to let people protest, is to let people bring awareness. Every time somebody comes here, it's not a day that goes by somebody doesn't come here that we don't talk to these things about. If we were out here and we went by for a week and nobody was coming and we felt like we wasn't getting any closer, we wasn't getting more organized or dealing with these issues, I'll be the first one to go into the house. I don't like sleeping outside. I don't like being outside. None of us enjoy this. But this is the extent that these things have gone to. This is the place that it has gotten to, that it has to be somebody 24/7 out here waving this flag and speaking about these things. Because the moment that we go back in the house, the moment that we try to find a different way of dealing with things, it will be an even deeper uphill battle. We spent a week between City Market and the time that we come out here in the house, and they shot somebody in the back and tried to kill him. A week.
Do you know, I heard them say that you guys were violating city ordinances. Do you know that there is the 10th and the 14th Amendment to the Constitution that gives the states the right to make laws as long as they do not violate your constitutional rights? So for them to say that you need a permit is a violation, because you don't need their permission to gather peacefully. No, I know they didn't give permission, but they were stating that you were violating city ordinances.
We're allowed to have canopies.
This is the
we're allowed to
designated.
have a certain amount of tables. We're allowed to have, a few chairs. We asked them to specify what ordinance says that we can only have a set amount of things, or what law says that we can't continue to be here. They told us that they would go and find exactly what it was that they can refer back to that we're violating. They never came back. They left, they never came back. And here we are.
Because there's no law.
60 days later, whatever, however much longer later it is, and now they're trying to come back again and say that we're violating ordinances that do not exist, or that do not directly relate to what we are doing.
This is the same thing that happened this summer when Dan O'Shea said we're tired of the protests.
Kurt
Wisniewski came and said the city's not going to tolerate it anymore. You don't get to tolerate us bringing awareness for the victims of police abuse. The police came here today, but they were called here by the Director of Public Works, Kyle Sandler. They came here.
You said it was city ordinance. I just want to get that on the record, exactly how that went down.
They didn't give us any city ordinances. They said we're breaking state law and city ordinances. They didn't specify which.
And that was this morning.
That was this
Today.
morning.
It was around noon. Around noon.
And there is if you go back far enough on the City of Rockford's Facebook page, there is a post in which they say that the canopies can be up here. They went back and forth. On Monday it's been like this for the entirety of the summer. On Monday it's one thing, on Tuesday it's something else. On Wednesday it's one thing, on Thursday it's something else. One week I'm getting arrested for felony mob action for walking on the crosswalk. The next week I'm walking, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later we walking on the crosswalk. One day, one person gets arrested for walking on the crosswalk for 10 minutes, another person walking on the crosswalk for 3 hours, they go home happily ever after, So I think that we're at a place where it's a bunch of hypocrisies.
Total.
My hands is freezing, I'm over talking. I just want to say one more thing. This is just so that way, because I think that one of the things that's happening is that people think that the only people that we're trying to bring awareness to, or the only issue that we're trying to bring awareness to, is only people being shot by the police or in custody deaths or anything like that. I 100% believe that all of these issues are inextricably tied to each other. I believe that the reason that we have so many murders last year, and the reason that some of these street issues are at this point, is because of the way that they've deprived resources from sides of this town, because of the way that they've deprived resources from education in this town, because of the way that they've made everybody have to go to school in the area that they grow up in or the area that they live in, instead of moving them around town like how I did, where you can know more people as you grow up. The same way we had these memorials set up, and we still have them set up for people who were killed by the police in Rockford or who died in custody deaths. We had these names of the 36 people who were murdered by the Rockford police, who were murdered in Rockford last year. We had these up on a pole too. These names got torn down too. 3 of the names of the victims who were killed at the bowling alley, those names were up on that pole too. They tore those names down too. So I want this to be understood 100% completely. These poles that are up here, when to say their names square, we haven't forgotten about anybody. We haven't forgotten about anything. We're highlighting a very specific issue, because if we can't get the police department to stop killing us, we're never going to get to a place where they do things to actually try to get other people to stop killing us. If they won't have their own police officers, their own police department not violate people's rights, it's hard for me to believe they care about citizens violating people's rights. So I want people to understand, if maybe you don't agree with some of these issues we're speaking about when it comes to the police brutality and the police excessive force, and so maybe you think they should tear down the pictures for those people. You think they should tear down the pictures for this Deontay, the 19-year-old that got killed? Should they take down the pictures for Damavali? Should they take down Arnold? Should they take down those two? All of these things were up there. All of these issues, we have spoken about all of these things. We speak about poverty. One of the things, the issues with the police department is drug addiction and gang. I just want to say that all of these issues, they're all things that we're speaking about. They're all things that we're informed about. If somebody comes down here and has a conversation, the conversation can go past just specifically dealing with the police issues. But what is happening right now is that the police department, they are the ground floor. They're, so to say, and if it was a chess game, they're the pawns on the chessboard. You are never going to be able to deal with the king and the queen and the rooks and the knights if you can't deal with the pawns. And right now we're at a place where these foot soldiers, police officers, have just as much power as a dictator in a foreign country. If right now those police officers would have came and shot everybody here, they all would have been fine and been justified and been well within their means, because we have been told if a police officer shoots you, they have the right to shoot you. So I want people to understand that the reason that we are focusing so heavily on the police brutality and on police excessive force and on wrongful convictions and on the situations that's going on in the jail is because we have to help the people who are the most vulnerable first. Those are the people that we have to help first. And then we can rise up and spread out and help other people. So I just want people to know that it was not just the name of Eddie Patterson, it was not just the names of Kerry Blake and Logan Bell, but all 36 of those people that they spoke about at that vigil, that the mayor spoke about how the city was with those people, they tore those people's names down too. And they balled them up and threw them in a trash can. This is how they look now.